My topic is gratitude, and of all the gifts that you'll ever get in your life, for which one owes gratitude, the greatest gift of all is life itself. If you have life, if you're given life, then all the pleasures and joys of living, love, friendship, relationship, creativity, joy, are all made possible as long as you have the gift of life. To fully appreciate the gift of life, you have to understand all the dimensions of it. Judaism says that life is the most precious thing in the world. It is, in fact, essential to all behaviors. The Torah says the main commandment is to choose life, to make sure that every action in life is on the side of living and the side of life. And the deepest level of life should be embraced, not just the standing level, the obvious level, physical, measurable, the body. There are deeper levels to life. If you go beneath the surface, into the deeper level, you come to emotions, relationship, profound experiences of that sort. And if you go yet deeper, you go into consciousness and mind and creativity and culture and art. And if you go to the very deepest level, there Judaism says you discover God. You discover the invisible, non-measurable, non-touchable, but that whole dimension of existence. It's like physical life is the tip of the iceberg. The deepest level of existence exists at this level we're in God. When you discover suddenly that in fact all of life exists because it's rooted, it's like planted in God. And that universal life force is there sustaining. And now we understand why, despite the fact that death is so powerful and everything living dies, there is more life in the world today than ever before in history, because this infinite source of life is pumping and strengthening the energy of life, which we all benefit from. We owe our gratitude for life to God, who gives life so generously and in abundance, because God is Melech Chafetz B'Chaim, the ruler of all, who lusts for life, who desires life, and who shares it in great plenty. Of course, as I said, God is hidden. And so how do we know the presence saturated through life? The answer is hidden in the very structures of nature and in the laws that uphold life. For example, on our planet, sunlight gives energy. Sunlight drives photosynthesis that makes all food possible. The energy of the light gives all of life capacity and strength. But the truth is that ultraviolet and other forms of this light destroy cells and make life impossible. So that the laws of nature are balanced with an atmosphere that filters out the destructive photons in light, that filters out through clouds anything that could destroy the cells, making life itself possible. And we see the presence of God in the exquisite biological systems that make our life possible. For example, again, in the heart that beats, circulates thousands of times every hour and every day. And if it would stop for a moment, the whole system would collapse, but it's so finely and exquisitely regulated that it beats not too fast and not too slow. Or eating and digestion. Again, in the subtle way, I need the food, it breaks it down into the elements that can sustain my life and my energy, but at the same time, it removes the waste, it removes the filter, and that process of filtration, of urination and defecation, is miraculously effectively. And there's a classic Jewish blessing that says, we thank God for creating my life, for creating this amazing system of interacting systems. And I know that I'm full of tubes and openings, and if one of these openings should close at the wrong time, I could not exist. That's a heart attack. When suddenly the valve is blocked, it's a heart attack. And I know if one of these should open improperly, that's if the blood going through the brain would burst out of the vein and it becomes a stroke. So I thank, in this special prayer, I thank God who gives me this capacity, who gives me this system, who heals my flesh and does miracles. So the truth is that all of our life is based on these miracles of these systems operating all the time. And it's something which we appreciate, we feel all the more gratitude. My body and its renewal is a miracle. When Jews wake up in the morning, traditional Jews wake up in the morning, they open their eyes, they suddenly realize that their sight is restored, they make a blessing for God who gives sight, restores sight to that which could not see before. Or if I walk on my footsteps, it's Hamechin Mitzadi Gover, the muscles, the nerve control that made possible my walking. And this is an amazing miracle, and I give a blessing of gratitude for that. So literally every aspect of life and every motion and gesture deserves a blessing of gratitude. When I get the food, I give a blessing for the fruit of the tree over the fruit of the ground, which gives me energy, which shows the divine power of creating energy and force that sustains life. Again, the central prayer of Jewish tradition thanks God for niflos, nisecha shebechol yom imonu, for your miracles which are with us every day, and on the amazing things that are done every hour, morning, afternoon, evening. Miracles, we're not talking about the splitting of the Red Sea. That doesn't happen every day, 3 times a day. The miracle is the nerves operating, the blood circulating, the heart beating. That we experience every day. Now, how do we express the ultimate gratitude for all these rhythms of life itself? The answer is we express this through respecting those rhythms, by not driving our heart with drugs that speed it up and could kill it, by not overruling the processes of nature, by polluting or by warming that which should not be overheated, by respecting our fellow forms of human life. Love your neighbor as yourself rather than taking advantage of them. So in all these ways, we show our gratitude by the way we treat all the rhythms of life. And since we stand before Shavuot, let me just add that final word of gratitude. On Shavuot, the Jewish people received a Torah which sustains life and calls us to act for life. Well, that Torah is described as Torah Chaim, as a teaching of life, v'avat chesed, of loving kindness. It's Starkan of justice, rachamim v'chaim v'shalom. It's committed to compassion, empathy. So we have to be grateful that we were given a Torah that guides us to this embrace of life and to the love of all living creatures.